Coming up, a former SU dean is running for Congress. How will this affect the local Democratic primary?
And today's the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination in Memphis. We'll have more on how Syracuse University is honoring the late civil rights hero.
And local authorities are trying to learn more about the woman who shot and injured 3 people at YouTube's headquarters in San Bruno. We'll have all this and more on Citrus TV News, live at 6.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Former Syracuse University Dean Juanita Perez-Williams is running for Congress. Good evening. I'm Federico.
And I'm Shruti Marathe. Perez-Williams will seek the Democratic Party nomination for New York's 24th District, challenging SU professor Dana Balter. Perez-Williams was the Democratic nominee for Syracuse mayor, where she ultimately lost to independent candidate Ben Walsh.
Perez-Williams said earlier this year that she would not run, but either Perez-Williams or Balter will challenge Republican incumbent John Katko for a spot in Washington.
University Union is partnering with the New York Times to bring comedian and television host Chelsea Handler to campus.
The event is tomorrow at 7 p.m. University Union President Jonah Rappaport is here to answer some questions about the event. Jonah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So what do you think we can expect from this Chelsea Handler at this event?
So it's going to be a great event. It's moderated by Megan Toohey, who's a New York Times journalist, and they're going to talk about the state of the political climate and a bunch of other issues.
So what has it been like to work with the New York Times in this particular instance?
So it's actually pretty organic. They approached us when they heard that we were looking to get Chelsea Handler, and it's honestly been a great learning experience. Their professionalism and experience is something that we're trying to emulate, so it's honestly a great experience overall.
I know University Union has put on a lot of events this year. Is there one that was particularly your favorite so far?
I really enjoyed our Cues for Good event. We were able to bring a mix of concerts and lecture and educational activities to the university while giving something that students could enjoy.
And I know so much of your focus is on this right now, but what else does UU have in the works?
We have Block Party and Mayfest coming up on April 27th. Stay tuned for the lineup shortly. It's definitely going to be an event you're not going to want to miss.
All right, and in terms of this Handler event tomorrow, how can students get involved and get tickets?
So tickets are available at the Shine box office for $5. If students want to buy them online, they're available for $10, and we'll be selling all up until showtime at 7 o'clock.
All right, Joe, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And this year, the Syracuse University Housing Services decided to change the way students choose their rooms. Citrus TV reporter Greg Bradbury tells us how the new track system that was put in place has changed the experience.
Syracuse students are finishing up selecting their housing for next year. The new system gives students a time to pick their room instead of the old lottery number system. Students have had mixed reviews thus far.
For me personally, I know a lot of people would say otherwise, but I got lucky, so I'm happy with it.
The goal of the housing change this year was to focus on roommate selection rather than selection number.
So if you got a 5,000 number, you were golden. But if you got an 8,000 number, nobody wanted to live with you. So we decided students shouldn't be picking their roommates based on numbers.
The new process may have changed who students choose to room with, but it didn't change where they want to live. So while many wanted to live right behind me here in Watson Hall, unfortunately for some, they'll be forced to take the bus right outside to South Campus. South Campus offers nice places to live, but the distance is what turns off most students.
South Campus apartments are nice. If they were on main campus or even just a little bit closer, I would love it. But I don't want to take the bus to and from class. You know what I mean? It's just, that was a no for me.
A lot of the system comes down to luck, and it is impossible to accommodate everyone's wishes, but the housing services try their best to give students a great living experience and continue to make the housing system better. Greg Bradbury, Citrus TV News.
The last round of housing begins tomorrow morning and is for those who did not select a roommate in the previous rounds.
Today marks the 50th anniversary for the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Syracuse University joined in on honoring the great civil rights leader. Less than 2 hours ago, Chancellor Kent Syverud co-hosted a plaque dedication ceremony to honor him. The spot in the Schaefer Art Building is almost exactly where King stood when he visited SU in 1965. Hundreds of people went to the unveiling as his memory and his work was honored. The Chancellor says the plaque affirms the university's commitment to access and opportunity for all.
We must reclaim his spirit, and as Reverend Jesse Jackson has written, commemorate the man in full, a radical, ecumenical, anti-war, pro-immigrant, and scholarly champion of the poor who spent more time marching and going to jail for liberation and justice than he ever spent dreaming about it.
The Krause College chimes will ring 39 times just after 7 tonight. It marks Dr. King's age and will honor his life and legacy.
And a panel about the importance of women in technology industries will be held next week on Monday, April 9th. The panel is a part of the Syracuse University's Women's Empowerment Project. 3 panelists from Spotify, Pandora, and Women 2.0 will speak about their career path and engage with students. Amazon Prime will sponsor food, drinks, and giveaways. And the Carrier Dome is trading in its turf for some dirt. The annual Monster Jam event is taking place this Saturday and is open to the public. As you can see here, the Dome staff was busy today setting up and getting the trucks ready for the big event. Fans can see monster trucks attempt tricks and skills on this new dirt terrain. Tickets are on sale online.
Today in Hendricks Chapel, Dean Brian Konkol talked to students about the new staff members that were hired and addressed issues of diversity on campus. A new associate dean and a new director of operations were brought in to help combine spirituality to student life. When Konkol addressed the diversity issues, he explained that they work hand in hand.
One really important point to make is that when we're having the larger conversation around diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's extremely important that we don't leave religion and spirituality out of that conversation.
And a big announcement at the Syracuse Airport today means new and cheaper flights out of Syracuse. CitrusTV reporter Dan Prager is live at Hancock Airport to tell us how your next trip could cost as low as $30.
Well, guys, thanks. You can see behind me that there's a lot of construction going on here, but it's not just inside the airport where Hancock is getting bigger. They just today added flights from Frontier Airlines. Frontier is going to bring, starting July, 2 new destinations into Syracuse, Denver and Raleigh. And starting in August, Chicago and Orlando are going to be added to that list. Since Frontier is a bargain airline, they're going to bring some new deals in as well. And for the next few days until April 6th, you can actually buy a plane ticket for under $30. And if you're like me and you could always use a good vacation, that's a great deal. Hancock is hoping right now that all of that will bring in more business, it will bring in more airlines, and it will bring more competition. And that can all make flights cheaper. Back to you.
A significant amount of jobs will be added to the Rochester area. Amazon plans to open a distribution center in the city. Officials say the 70,000 square foot store should be open the next 3 to 4 months. That may sound large, but officials say that it'll be one of the smaller centers by Amazon standards. It'll be located at 330 Clay Road in Henrietta. The Buffalo Thruway is getting a renovation soon to repair their roadway. The state of New York says the budget for this project is $66 million. Some inclusions and updates are the new signs, wider shoulders, and better guardrails. Officials say the superhighway sees over 130,000 vehicles a day.
Well, here we are in early April, and today's weather, from snow to plenty of sun, it's really been all over the place.
I have no idea what's going on out there, but hopefully Citrus TV weather anchor Jack Watson has a grasp on it. Jack?
Thanks a lot, Connor and Shruti. Yeah, the weather are really all over the place today. Started out in the early morning hours. It was actually over 50 degrees and raining. Also a high wind warning throughout the area throughout most of the day. But right now we're looking at 25 degrees. Some temperatures are in free fall, going all the way down from 50 degrees earlier today, all the way down to the 20s for tonight. And we do have some lingering snow showers possible. There are some flurries going on outside right now. And we see with our Doppler radar a little bit of a clearer look. The snow is a little more isolated than usual here in Syracuse. It's not coming off of the lake quite as much. It's a little more isolated, and that's going to make for some just small isolated snow flurries. And tomorrow's forecast is getting up to about 33 degrees tomorrow, but just above freezing. So I really hope you didn't put those winter coats away, even though it is technically spring right now. I'll have even more on my full forecast when Citrus TV News Live at 6 returns, guys.
Thanks, Jack. Coming up, we'll update you on the shooting at YouTube headquarters yesterday.
And find out which country is scrambling to deal with a major oil spill. Don't change that channel.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver. The one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Police are trying to learn the motive of the suspect of yesterday's shooting at the YouTube campus in San Bruno, California.
Nassim Agdam's dispute with YouTube could be the reason behind the shooting. Sources say authorities are investigating a website that seems to show the suspect saying YouTube restricted her videos.
Reports also indicate the brother of the suspect warned the police prior to the shooting, worried his sister could do something dangerous.
And Facebook creator and CEO Mark Zuckerberg is set to testify in front of the House Energy and Commerce Committee next week.
Several committee members asked to hear him speak about the role of Facebook in the 2016 election. He will answer questions regarding the security of Facebook's data.
The testimony comes after a major privacy breach. Today, Facebook announced that all 87 million users had their data used by the data mining company Cambridge Analytica.
The White House is planning to bring U.S. involvement in Syria to a rapid end. This comes after President Trump stated last week that he wants to pull troops out of Syria as quickly as possible.
Trump's top military advisors have cautioned him from making any immediate decisions. They say the battle against ISIS is not complete and it is too soon to withdraw troops.
The director of national intelligence says the decision was made last night, but did not elaborate further.
And a feud is brewing between China and the United States over tariffs.
Talking Points analyst Michael Furnari is here to give us an in-depth look at the situation.
China is heading back against the United States in what could become a trade war between the two countries. Earlier this week, the White House imposed 25% trade tariffs against 1,300 Chinese products. In a tit-for-tat, China retaliated earlier this morning with 25% trade tariffs on 106 U.S. goods, including orange juice, automobiles, and soybeans. In the wake of this development, the Dow opened down 450 points, while the Nasdaq fell 77 points. Both governments have since traded condemnations. Yesterday, Beijing said that it strongly condemned the United States' tariffs. And President Trump voiced his opinion today, tweeting, "We are not in a trade war with China. That war was lost many years ago by foolish or incompetent people who represented the U.S." Trump also stated that the White House tariffs were in response to unfair Chinese intellectual property practices. Now, the world is keeping a close eye on the two powerhouse countries. A full-blown trade war between the two could spell trouble for the global economy in the future. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Michael. Officials are currently investigating an oil spill that killed 5 people in Indonesia. The spill occurred along the coast of Balikpapan, a port city with one of the country's largest oil refineries.
The oil well caught fire shortly after killing 5 fishermen. Indonesia has since declared a state of emergency.
Environmentalists are already urging police to find those responsible for the incident. The state energy company denies any responsibility.
Concerns over Malaysia's fake news bill are increasing with the upcoming elections. If passed, the bill will allow the government to arrest and fine sources accused of spreading fake news.
Citizens and former government officials alike fear that it will prevent dissent, censoring those who criticize the authorities.
Malaysia's law minister states that the plan is meant to protect instead of silence. He said it aims to protect all parties, government and opposition alike.
And coming up, Toys R Us is going out of business, but that doesn't mean you can't use their gift cards.
And Stella Artois is recalling beer bottles. We'll tell you why after the break.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it.
You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News Live at 6. Throughout central New York, we have mostly high 30s and low 40s, but don't let that fool you because it feels very, very cold, much colder than that because of our high wind warning conditions. And right now on the hill, we're at 37 degrees. A very, very gusty day overall. We do have some snow flurries falling a little bit, as we saw earlier with those isolated snow showers, but that temperature is dropping. That temperature could get to as low as 25 degrees by the early morning hours, and when you're waking up for classes at 9 a.m., it's going to be 25, into noon 29 degrees, and by 6 p.m., we're just barely at freezing at 32 degrees. It's a sunny day overall, though, but not really what you'd like to expect when you think of spring, but we do expect throughout the next couple of weeks that temperature to gradually get back up. And we do have some high wind conditions here in central New York. We've had it the whole day, but wind gusts could still get up to around 60 miles per hour, leaving the possibility for property damage and power outages. This is having the effect of speeding up and raising the waves on Lake Ontario, which might be the cause of flooding. For CNY counties close to Lake Ontario, there's a lakeshore flood warning until 2 tomorrow morning. These gusty 40-plus mile-an-hour winds will stay with us throughout most of the early night.
Have too many Toys R Us gift cards expiring soon? Well, until tomorrow, you can trade those cards in for reduced Bed Bath & Beyond cards. This is not a new trend. The store allows trade-in from about 200 other companies and restaurants, but each one has a different rate of exchange. A $100 gift card from Toys R Us would sell for a little less than $65, while a $100 gift card from Target would be $85. Make sure you trade your Toys R Us gift cards before the stores are closed tomorrow.
And be careful while drinking Stella Artois beer. Some of its bottles have been recalled for containing particles of glass. The company is asking for voluntary removal of bottles, and it covers less than 1% of the bottles sold in the U.S. and Canada. The company says there was a problem with a third-party packing facility where glass could accidentally get into the beers.
Well, you certainly don't want any glass and beer. But coming up in sports, the Syracuse men's lacrosse team back in action. What's new in the world of SU basketball and Facebook in baseball? How does that work? I'll let you know after the break. Stay tuned.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. I'm Noah Eagle with sports. Now, if you came up to a Syracuse lacrosse fan just 2 weeks ago, optimism probably wouldn't be what you would find. Following 2 straight losses to Johns Hopkins and Rutgers, SU was struggling to find its identity. But then came a major road win versus Duke in which the Orange scored 15 goals. So they're an explosive offensive team, right? But then what about allowing just 6 goals the following week to number 6 Notre Dame? Is it offense or defense that anchors this team? Well, last night versus Hobart, maybe a little bit of both. Stephen Rafis and company really looking to get going against Hobart early on, and Rafis would get going for sure in this one. But we're going to start with Nate Solomon. Nifty little underhand shot finds the back of the net to tie it at 1 under 9 minutes to go in the first. Then there's that defense I was talking about. Nick Mellon, 1 of 10 caused turnovers in the game, and then back on the offensive end, Syracuse would capitalize. Nice little ball movement, and Brad Voigt finds the back of the net. 7-1 Syracuse at the end of the first half. So we move on to the second half now, and Kyle Grimaldi would get things going for Hobart. Scores there to make it 8-2 in the start of the second half, and then part of a 3-goal run for Hobart, capped off by Ryan Archer, the Central New York native, finds the back of the net, gets one past Don Madonna to make it 8-4, but Syracuse and Stephen Rafis would not go away. Rafis had 5 points in this one of them right there to make it 9-4, and Syracuse would win it 11-4 over Hobart to take the Kraus Simmons Trophy. And for John Desko, he was impressed after just 1 day of practice.
The game didn't go exactly how I thought it would. I thought that with only a day to prepare, Monday that we might get off to a little shakier start in the first quarter, and to my surprise, we came out and I thought we played pretty.
Well, luckily for Desko's team, a full week to prepare for the next opponent, which is Cornell. The Big Red are all the way up to top 10 in the country. Should be a good one down in Ithaca. The college basketball season officially ended Monday night, but for the SU men's basketball team, headlines have become the norm since the Sweet 16 exit. First, it was Matthew Moyer and Braden Baer announcing that they will transfer from the school. Then it was 5-star recruit Darius Baisley taking back his commitment to play in the G League. So how about some good news for fans? School officials say that freshman Barama Sidibe underwent surgery on Friday to help tendonitis, and the center appeared in 30 of 37 games this season. Another team on the Hill that has struggled to find its exact identity, the Syracuse softball team. The Oranges coupled nice wins with some poor losses and entering today's doubleheader with Canisius 16-14. But there's more on the line today than just another game in the victory column. Head coach Mike Bosch was just 1 win away from 600 in his career. And could the team get the job done and get Coach B to this impressive milestone? Well, the answer is yes, and then some. SU wins both games today, 6-2 and 10-4. Gabby Turan went yard in the first game, and then the second contest, it was a very spread-out offensive output. 3 players with 2 RBIs, and Romero and Gotti picked up wins. Next up, a trip to South Bend for a date with Notre Dame on Friday. As for the SU women's lacrosse team, meeting expectations has been a challenge. 7-5 so far on the season, including 0-3 in ACC play. Now, following a 17-10 loss at the hands of Duke this weekend, the Orange could really use a win to get back in its footing back on track. Gary Gate and company get that chance tomorrow when they travel to Maryland to take on Loyola at 4 o'clock. And finally, in Major League Baseball, both the Mets and Yankees in action during the day today. Now, the interesting part about the Mets game, it was the first ever Facebook exclusive stream between New York and the Phillies, and the Mets fans might want to click the like button on that one as the Amazons came out with a 4-2 win. The Bronx Bombers back-to-back wins against the Rays, 7-2. The final from Yankee Stadium as Giancarlo Stanton hit his 3rd home run in pinstripes. Connor, I know you're excited about that one.
Oh, yeah, the Yankees doing very well right now in that 2-game winning streak. But some golf news, Noah.
Yes.
We're suddenly not allowed to say one of your famous catchphrases at the Masters.
I don't know if it's my famous catchphrase, dilly dilly. If anyone who is a fan or spectator, whatever it may be, at the Masters says dilly dilly, they will be immediately kicked out.
That's
really sad.
That's really awful.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate. And what do you see being the impact of Barama Sidibe's injury?
Well, you know, I think the surgery is huge because we saw that he's capable both offensively and defensively at the center position. And Pascal Chukwu, who got into foul trouble a lot throughout the year, when Barama Sidibe came in and looked like he was healthy, he looked like the best center on this team. So hopefully for Syracuse, he can continue to, 1, get healthier, and 2, play at a high level next year.
Absolutely. Noah, thank you.
Absolutely.
After the break, we'll have one last look at your weather.
Don't go away.
they'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News Live at 6, your 5-day forecast here. Tomorrow, we're looking at a very, very cold day, wintry-like day. The good news, though, is that there is some sunshine peeking through. By Friday, we are looking at some snow early in the morning that turns into rain because of that high temperature of 47 degrees. But the lowest it could possibly get there is 28 degrees. That's where we get some of the snow from. Saturday, an overcast day, continuing into Sunday, another similar day. You might see some sun peeking out there. And Monday, a 41-degree high with some sun as well.
So, Jack, what should I wear when I wake up tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow you're definitely going to want to wear some winter clothes. I mean, the fact that we're in spring right now and we have lots of these cold temperatures, you're going to want to wear some winter clothes.
Great, right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for you tonight. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Citrus TV News. From all of us at Citrus TV, I'm Shruti Marathe.
And I'm Federico. Have a good night, Syracuse.